Hey y'all, it's Kasim with Solutions 8, and I'm here with your daily Google News. And I'm really excited because I have definitive proof that Google Ads is by far the best performing ad channel in existence. And just to provide a preface to the argument that I'm about to make, say what you want about capitalism, but it is more or less a meritocratic ecosystem, meaning the dollars flow in the direction of the highest degree of efficacy. That's kind of the point of the entire system. So when you see people pushing more funding in one direction or the other, that means that they have, unless they're insane, found that expenditure has been more profitable to them. So let's take a look at a screenshot from Ryan Deiss's keynote speech at Traffic and Conversion. Bam! This was my favorite thing to see. So first of all, if you went to T&C, it was amazing. Super sparse, to be honest with you, in terms of attendees, which is really, really, really sad. I think they had a 50% show rate or something. But the content was phenomenal. And as always, Ryan's keynote presentation was worth the cost of admission as far as I'm concerned. He's one of the brightest marketers on the planet. I realized I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago, so forgive me. But he was kind of giving us the whole State of the Union, which he always does before he gave us, the hope and the path forward, which he did a good job at. Here's what I like to see. Ad price increases year over year. This is July 2020 to July 2021, so as recent as you can get for this type of aggregated data. Facebook and Instagram, 89%. Snapchat, 64%. TikTok, 92%. Amazon, 87%. YouTube, 108%. Pretty damn good. Google Ads, 198%. Why would that be? Except that Google is what works. So advertisers went to what works when everything got dark and dire. Now, the plot thickens, by the way, y'all. I realize that I drank the Google Kool-Aid, and I'm not just trying to, pump my own narrative here. So Ryan, I'll show you. He cites the source, God bless him, and so you can go in and Inside Business Insider's this article, which by the way you have to pay to read. And I don't know why I have a visceral reaction to that. I don't know why I donate to Wikipedia, so I understand the need to support journalism. But there's just something about me. I'm just a spoiled millennial, and I want it all for free. So I signed up for Business Insider's $1 trial, and I'm probably going to cancel before they bill me again. But just so you know, I'm going to include a link to this article. I'm not an affiliate. I don't want you to pay for Business Insider, but if you want to read the article, you have to. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. So here's the article. Now, this is what pisses me off a little bit. It's actually a flawed comparison, probably from people that don't understand the flaw in their model. Here we go. We compared most of the platforms using the common ad buying pricing mechanism of cost per milli CPM, which is the cost advertisers pay to reach 1,000 people. That is flawed because that's not how Google charges. That's not how Google bills us, generally speaking. You can end up on a CPM model if you want to, but it's far more elegant than that. And so a 200% increase in CPMs is irrelevant if Google is getting more and more and more effective with its inventory, which we know to be the case. So you could have a 200% increase in CPMs, but a 400% increase in the efficacy of a campaign, meaning it used to take 1,000 people to catalyze a purchase, and now it takes 250. So here's what I want to do: is I want everybody to not be afraid that, oh my God, the cost of Google traffic is going through the roof and I'm going to be priced out of the market. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, I think it's the opposite. I think that Google is getting more effective than any other advertising network at maximizing the value of its inventory. And then here they go on to say that they compared CPCs, but I'm going to show you that they didn't do that properly inside of the Google ecosystem. Couple of notes. You can read through all this if you want to. So here's Facebook CPMs are up to $11 on average, which is interesting because I'm used to being profitable like $80 CPMs, like really expensive audiences. Now, admittedly, we sell higher ticket items most of the time, but it's interesting. That just didn't seem that catastrophic to me. But I know that Facebook has fallen apart in a bunch of other ways, so I won't defend it at all. Now, here's what's interesting. YouTube CPM soared 108% year over year. I don't like this data because that's not an accurate reflection of the way that you're billed. So you can't use that as your rate of measure. At least not in every instance. YouTube's interesting too because you're paying for views, and you're only paying at specific thresholds. And I argue that you're still getting an impression, you're still getting value out of the things that you haven't paid for. That's why I love YouTube so much, because you're not going to pay unless they watch 30 seconds. Y'all, that's insane. That's an unbelievable timeline. And somebody who's been exposed to your message, but doesn't reach that line of demarcation, they've still been impressed upon. You're still making headway with them. So amazing opportunity inside of the YouTube ecosystem to really build a brand. It takes time though. You have to be willing to invest some time, which I'll get on that soapbox later. Here we go. CPMs. So they did measure Google's inventory according to a CPM model. And notice that they're talking specifically about smart bidding here, effectively, or at least that's what I think. Shot up 200% year over year. Now, this is what I was referring to. I don't believe this is necessarily the cost of inventory. We have seen the cost of inventory rise just a little bit in certain places, but we haven't seen a 200% rise across the board. Instead, we've actually seen more effective use and placement. Which I think speaks to the fact that Google, from an AI perspective, is getting better and better and better and better at zeroing exactly who's going to buy, as long as you're using it properly. Now, here they go on to say that CPCs for search and shopping ads during the second quarter were around $1, and our experience has been that the average CPC for a shopping ad is 56 cents. This is why this is also flawed. This is flawed. This is just, sorry. I realize that this is a writer who just doesn't know what they're doing. Lauren, so I'm so sorry to beat up on you, Lauren. Forgive me. But you can't average search and shopping. The average CPC for search is $2. The average CPC for shopping, for our campaigns is 56 cents, but we also take on, tend to be a little bit more competitive. So I bet you it's a lot. I bet you it's like 20 or 30 cents. You can't average those things together. They're two entirely different networks. They function in very, 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 very different ways. So this is an irrelevant data point. And I'm sure it's actually probably not her fault. There's somebody else feeding her this data. I forget who. She cites the source somewhere. I don't care. I don't care about TikTok or Snapchat. Maybe I should. So I've got a buddy, Scott Cunningham. He owns Socialite, brilliant marketer, world authority in the space of e-com, and he's all about Snapchat for especially if you had a Facebook campaign that was performing and failed. Scott's pushing a lot of his clients to Snapchat with a ton of success. I've seen the case studies. It's pretty interesting. So just a shout out for Scott. And then if you're scrambling, go check out Snapchat. I don't have a lot of insight into TikTok. From a paid perspective, organically, I've got a friend now who's like Rachel Peterson. She's like the world authority in TikTok, and she freaking crushes it organically, but I don't think she does any paid advertising, so I can't comment on it. All that to say, Google is winning. Google is winning the meritocratic ecosystem. Google is winning the environment that says, I need a return on my dollar. So now, there's a ton of reasons why you'd want to build a brand elsewhere. But for smaller advertisers, I mean, you got to really temper that against staying open, keeping the lights on, keeping people employed, hitting payroll, etc. That's all I got. Interested in your opinions and whether or not you think that I'm viewing this through the right lens or the right paradigm. I feel a little bad about beating up on Business Insider and Lauren over there, so apologies. I get passionate. Love y'all. Mean it. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day, so if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.